You know what else is good news? Kathleen Madigan's coming back to town.
Oh, yeah.
One of the funniest people in stand-up comedy, bar none. The full interview will be on Live from My Office, my podcast, later today. Subscribe, rate, review. You know the drill. Wherever you get your podcast, get Live from My Office. So that'll be up later today. But in the meantime, talked to Kathleen yesterday. I want to play back a chunk of it for you now and remind you that she's going to be at the Chicago Theater next Saturday night. We're talking about how insane stand-up comedy's gotten for these A-list performers. Here we go.
It's amazing, and I don't know. Here's what the one little tiny thing COVID helped when they called us all back to work. Like a lot of the gigs I worked, they were like, "Yeah," because I got way 50 times the calls that I would normally get, and I'm like, "What is going on?" Well, it's because the music people take so long because they have so much stuff.
Oh yeah.
They need to map out a grid of 6 months of, they got semi trucks, they got to load in, they got to load out, and then everybody woke up and went, "Hey, Kathleen just has a purse and bar napkins with jokes on them in the purse. Maybe she could be here tomorrow." Well, you bet I can be there tomorrow. And then the comedians just started. I don't know. I think it's Netflix and Amazon with all of our specials on there, and more people are just finding it compared to the old days. If I had one on Showtime, you'd kind of have to be watching Showtime at that time to know it was there. The fact that they're always there is, and if you look at it like the comedians, we have way more specials than, say, a live music special.
That's true. No, it's absolutely true.
And we're just a lot easier. Low maintenance, not many people. Just be in an opening act. Somebody answer the back door and let me in. That's well, even sound check. I just go, "Hello, is this on?" Okay, we're done.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sound check takes 10 seconds. And by the way, you don't even have to show up for that. Someone else can go, "Hello, it's on."
Right.
But I look at some of these guys, like I love John Mulaney. He's hilarious. But he doesn't dance. He doesn't even move around that much. He's just this skinny guy with great hair, and yeah, I'm a little bitter. And he's selling at the United Center.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them out there. There's levels that I haven't reached, and I'm not sure I want to, like that arena situation. I'm good with the big old fancy theaters or any theater. Even I still like the clubs when I'm off. I'll go down and hang out at the club. But more power to them, because you're just raising the bar for everybody. So there's young guys that are Shane Gillis just sold 4,000 tickets last week at Charlotte, I think. Oh no, Detroit. And he's a youngster. And some of the TikTokers will come and go. They get a moment in the sun and then you never hear them again. But there's quite a few that are actually really, really good as actual stand-ups. So
you're doing a bunch of stuff. It's not just the tour, and you're everywhere on the tour. But and by the way, you still got Hunting Bigfoot, of course, because as you talked about, the specials live forever. So you can see Hunting Bigfoot. Yeah,
and that one they threw up in, they put that up in like March. So it's still got good life to it. So that's good.
So check that out. And the Pubcast. Now, the podcast I do Live from My Office, which you've been nice enough to be on many times. I thought maybe you and I and a couple other people would be doing these podcasts, because I've been on the radio for a long time. And, it takes a certain bit of talent or the ability to make people think you have it to talk for a living. And yet now there are 3 million podcasts. Anybody with $1,000 and a mom that can drive them to Best Buy can get a podcast. So it's tough. It's tough to break through. And I'm thrilled to see the Pubcast is a big hit.
Yeah, it's doing really good. I didn't know if I could keep doing it when I went back on the road, like hardcore, but it's easy enough. If I can do it, anybody. That's why somebody was going to charge me, I don't know, a crazy amount of money to put it up every week and to actually teach me how to do it. And I'm like, there are 13-year-olds in their basement doing this alone. I'm sure I can figure this out if I try. And the people that come out to the shows, I mean, it's like a third of the people or more, maybe half, when I say, thanks for listening to the podcast, that are aware of it. So that's good. I mean, it was just a happy accident. I just got very bored during COVID, because I always said I'm not doing a podcast because all the ones I get asked to be on are other comedians' podcasts. And then we just sit around and talk about being a comedian. And I'm like, how many more of these can we do that people are going to care about? Like, I've I've done 100 of them. And I used to even joke at the club in LA. I'm like, I will only do a podcast if it's my mom's. I'm done. I'm done. Being on them. I don't want to talk about comedy anymore. I've said all there is I can say. Like, come on, guys. What are we actually doing here? But then I ended up starting one, but I don't have guests and I don't interview other comedians. I just do weird stories from the news that make me laugh.
Right. And there's no shortage of that, which is great. And
it keeps going. Yeah. Just when you think America might have their act together. No, we don't.
No.
We don't.
Not close. And you're talking about everybody doing the podcast thing. I've done radio for 40 years and there's a kid across the street who's maybe 14 who arm farts songs. And he can be on a podcast just like I do. So I'm thinking about having him hit. I'm going to hire a guy in Chicago and have him hit.
Yeah, bring him over. Why not?
Well, it's got to be ended. The other thing is, and I'm a little concerned about this, because you are a loyal Missourian. You are from a great Missouri family, and yet the rumor is you're going to be throwing out the first pitch at the Cubs game. Are you concerned for your own security?
Well, I had to have a meeting with my uncles because they're the most diehard, and I don't want to be banned like from Thanksgiving. And they were all like, "Oh, that's a great honor. Yeah, you should definitely do it." The Cubs Cardinal thing. I've never experienced any hate there. Like even in our 20s when we would come up from St. Louis, like going to Chicago was like going to Hong Kong. Like we'd never seen anything that big, and it was just amazing. And we were like, "What? We can get a beer at 3 a.m? I love this town. I'm never leaving." I mean, we did all the basic here's Chicago stuff, and then as time went on, I've spent all the years there working. But even the Chicago Cubs, the Cubs card series were always fun and friendly. If they came down to St. Louis or we came up there, we were probably a little wilder because we hadn't seen anything that crazy big and just a city with like a train and, things that make up a city. So I feel good about it. I really don't think I would do it if it was the Dodgers. Like a team that I don't like, or I don't like the
history of it. You don't have a connection to it. You can do that.
Yeah, there's no reason. Like, I mean, I really love the city of Pittsburgh. I guess if they asked me, I would, but I wouldn't feel. I didn't go there a bunch of weekend in my 20s just to get drunk like I did to Chicago.
Right.
I mean, like it became our fun city. So, and it was a big deal to go up there. And even for Blues Blackhawks games.
Have you done it before? Have you done it at Busch, say?
I did it in St. Louis. It was terrifying because it's like when you're doing something you don't normally do, and then you realize, oh my God, there's like 30. I'd say when you do that, the stadium's probably half full. It's not full because you're doing it before all this stuff. But then you see your name up there, and I'm like, oh wow, this was the stupidest thing I've ever agreed to, because you realize it's also very far away. And I'm holding a baseball, and I told her there's all these people around, home plate media people and Fred Bird, and I'm like, hey, you guys should move. And I'm going to throw this now, and I'm not being fake humble. I'm not sure where it's going.
Right.
So if you don't want a ball in your temple, I mean, I'm not going to throw it hard, but this is risky. Well, I'm warning you. I'm warning you.
This is a true story. I've done it a couple of times at Wrigley and a couple of times on the South Side. But one of the times I did it at Wrigley, the guys in the booth said, the ex-players, guys like Steve Stone at that point said,
"Oh yeah."
Said, you got to throw it hard, man. You got to throw it hard. Don't hold back. Got to throw it hard. Got to throw it hard. Got to throw it hard as you can." And
so my brother goes, "You're going all the way to the mound, and you're not letting someone come towards you." And I said, I don't know that I can throw it 60 feet accurately, Pat. And he said, well, you got to try. You got to try. You don't know if you'll ever do it again. You got to try.
Well, the ultimate truth is the only way you're really remembered for doing it is if you're really bad. A good pitch.
Yeah, I mean, right. If I want to make it on Sports Center, I got to throw it in the stands.
Right, you got to take out a nun.
Yeah. Or the mascot or something. I don't want to be on Sports Center. I just want to throw it so I don't look like when George Bush, the president, threw it.
Yeah.
That was really bad.
Yeah. All right, so that's Saturday at Wrigley, but a week from Saturday the 23rd, that's the Chicago theater date. And wherever you're listening around the country, you're going to Richmond, you're going to Charlotte, Des Moines, Kansas City, Virginia Beach, Washington, Fort Worth. Thank you, Kathleen.
All right, man. We'll see you soon.
Full interview again on Live from My Office. It'll be up later today. I'll be there at that show next week.
What is that podcast called again?
What's the podcast called?
Yeah, Live from My Office.
Live from My Office. Yes. And her podcast is called the Kathleen Madigan Pubcast.
Oh, cute.
There you go. And she takes stupid news stories and makes fun of them. She's great. If you've never seen her live, you should see her. She's fall down funny.